end the emergency lockdown? Is it also reasonable at this time to shut down a media company? We discuss in this episode of the Chiefs.
Wala.
Oo nga.
Ano raw, we have to do it again kasi basag daw.
Ah.
May 5, the country's largest broadcast network went off the air for, at least on the surface, the lack of a congressional franchise. This means that media will be one organization short in the daily reporting of the COVID-19 pandemic. As the government has 10 remaining days to decide on what to do with the ECQ, is it time to end the emergency lockdown? And is it also reasonable at this time to shut down a media company? We'll discuss in this episode of the Chiefs. And welcome to this special edition of the Chiefs. This edition comes at a very critical time in the country's history. And of course, we will talk about that now. But with me right now are Luchi Cruz-Valdes, the head of News 5, Ami Pamintuan, the editor-in-chief of the Philippine Star, and of course, Roby Alampay of One News. Good evening, ladies and gents.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Should I ask kung ano yung malaking story nyo ngayon o hindi na?
Alam naman natin kung ano ng pinakamalaki at pinag-uusapan.
Pero I suppose it does come as a surprise after all the promises made nung February at March ng Kongreso, Senado at ang NTC.
Alam mo, Ed, kanina nga iniisip ko, ang tagal-tagal na natin pinag-uusapan to. And pinag-uusapan natin not only yung lahat ng panic, pinag-uusapan na natin lahat ng senaryo. And there were optimistic scenarios, there were pessimistic scenarios. But despite all of that, I think kahit saan ka tumungtong doon, whether you were an optimist or a pessimist, kung saan ka man pumapanig, kanina, I think lahat tayo nanonood ng ABS-CBN. Wala namang masama doon. Yun ang totoo. Ang buong bayan nanonood ng ABS-CBN kanina. Ang nananaig talaga sa dibdib ko, sa isipan ko, hindi ako makapaniwala. Kahit na pinag-uusapan natin ito pagkatagal-tagal, hindi ako makapaniwala humantong tayo sa pagkakataong ito at pinapanood ko at pinapanood natin yung pinapanood natin kanina.
Well, merong mga hindi nagulat, no? I think we were all lulled into complacency dahil sinabi ng DOJ sa kanang House. Pwede naman mag-operate tuloy-tuloy, di ba? So we were all expecting that. Although, mamaya pag-usapan natin na merong mga ibang tao na nagsasabi na it was really not unexpected na itutuloy ng NTC. Meron din ganung nagsasabi.
Actually, kung hindi naman nag-warning si Solgen, hindi naman parang tingin ko lang hindi siya magiging urgent. Alam mo yon, yung parang pwedeng palagpasin, tapos tsaka na lang ulit magbakbakan. Diba? Kaya nakakagulat talaga yung...
ayun ang sa akin dagdag sa gulat, and I want to share this, and I think we mentioned this last week. I was listening to House Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano, Compañero Alan Peter Cayetano, who built his political career and whose family built their political dynasty on ABS-CBN property, on the property that they inherited from their father, who also built his political career on ABS-CBN. Last week, Speaker Alan Cayetano was on DZMM, pinapakinggan ko. At napakalakas, walang pakundangan, sinasabi niya, kung magsara yan, ako mangunguna sa pagrarally, and more importantly, more substantially, he said, masasabi ko po sa inyo ngayon na sa Kongreso, walang move para ipasara ang ABS-CBN. And yet, here we are, again, on this day, and as of right now, sarado ang ABS-CBN.
Kaya nga ang tanong talaga is, anyari?
And for that, we have the critical people who hopefully will give us who will shed light to what really happened. And of course, joining us tonight is NTC Deputy Commissioner Edgardo Cabarrios. Commissioner Cabarrios, thank you for joining us, and we really appreciate your being here so that we can have clarity here. And also joining us is BICOL Party-list Congressman Alfredo Garbin, who is a member of the majority of the House Committee on Legislative Franchises. Sila po yung komite na nagbabalangkas dapat itong prangkisa ng ABS-CBN. Pero Commissioner Cabarrios, if I may, I would like to start off with you po. Kasi today po, yung inyong commission po yung naglabas ng order para tumigil yung ABS-CBN sa kanyang operasyon. Pero po, as late po as March 11 or March 12, there was a report attributed to you, a quotation pa nga, where you told reporters that wala na pong problema yung ABS-CBN Provisional Authority na ibibigay ng NTC dahil naglabas na ng resolusyon ang Senado at ang Kongreso. In fact, you said na unless may restraint from the courts, pasado na po yan. What happened po in the interregnum, in between the statement and now?
Opo. Well, pinag-aralan po ng aming legal team, no, yung issue, at they came to a conclusion na wala pong legal na basehan kasi yung pagpapatuloy ng operation because yung congressional franchise has expired. Pursuant to the law, Section 1, Act 846, you cannot operate a radio broadcasting station without a valid congressional franchise. So since lahat po ng authorizations, lahat ng mga provisional authority or certificate of public convenience na i-issue po ng commission are all predicated on a valid congressional franchise. So once the expiral of congressional franchise, all authorizations already expired then. So wala na pong authority ang ABS.
Both in February and March po, consistent po yung NTC officials, ikaw po, pati po si mismong commissioner ng NTC, ang nagsabi po na wala na pong problema yan, and we I suppose everybody presumed that you are the experts as far as the regulations are concerned.
Sir, yung kasi pinag-aralan po whether a resolution ng Congress pwede para ituloy po yung operation, no, ng ABS-CBN. But our legal team said na absence of a congressional franchise, valid congressional franchise, hindi pwedeng mag-issue ng any provisional authority or any whatever kind of authority to operate a radio broadcasting station. So yun po yung naging recommendation at tinalakay po sa en-bank session at yun po yung naging desisyon ng Commission en-bank.
Pero hindi ho ba, Sir Cabarrios, hindi ho ba na-settle na po yan noon bago po mag-ECQ na magbibigay nga po kayo ng provisional authority at binigyan kayo ng permiso ng Kongreso na mag-issue nun habang inaantay ang final franchise?
Well, ang sabi ko nga po kasi sa pursuant to law, hindi po pwedeng mag-issue ng any authority ang NTC to any broadcast station nang walang valid congressional franchise. So yun po yun. So a PA is an authority. So hindi po pwede na issue ng walang valid congressional franchise. So yun po yung naging desisyon ng Commission.
Mr. Cabarrios, ang isa pong basis ng Justice Secretary in standing with Congress in saying na maaaring gawin to was, as they said, the principle of equity. And in line with that, acknowledging na itong lehitimong prangkisa hanggang napaso yung kanilang prangkisa ay walang ginagawang masama. At they, more than walang ginagawang masama, they were doing everything they needed to do to comply with all of their requirements. And it was Congress not acting on their petition who was really, at the end of the day, at fault for sitting on this. And in that sense, the Department of Justice not only said it would be in the interest of fairness and equity to therefore allow them, granted, given that it's not their fault. Not only that, they also said it happens. Nangyayari to. Maraming napapaso na prangkisa and on the same principle na hindi naman nila kinakasalanan, hinahayaan ng pamahalaan na magpatuloy. Ano pong masasabi niyo doon?
Meron po kasing question raised on the validity of the franchise of ABS-CBN. No? At nasa korte po yan. So we have also taken into consideration all of these matters. No? So it is prudent for the Commission therefore, to issue the CDO because there is no valid congressional franchise already. So nag-expire na po, so there's no valid congressional franchise. So any authority granted to operate radio stations, the ABS-CBN, has already expired also.
Pero
Mr.
Commissioner, let me
Navarro,
be more specific po. Kasi in the case po, for example, of the 11 radio stations of CBCP, they operated for more than a year without a franchise granted by Congress. It took Congress more than a year before they finally granted the franchise. And during that time span of more than a year, wala pong problema, wala pong CDO, wala pong question ang NTC. I'm wondering lang what makes this different now. I'm sorry, Amir. So, kailangan ko lang singit yun.
Well, yes, wala pong ginawa ang commission nun. Did not issue anything because there were exchanges of letters and information doon nung panahon na yon that sabi ng Kongreso, if the renewal application is being deliberated in Congress, so they consider yan at the end of the Congress. Kung hindi pa mapigyan ng authority, then that's it. No? But in this particular case kasi, meron yung issue na ni-raise on the validity of the franchise. Noong mga panahon na yun, walang nag-raise ng issue on the validity of the franchise. But in this particular case, meron po na
So, linawin ko lang po yung punto na yan. You're saying it's not really a question of whether or not there was a validity of franchise. Your point boils down to the fact that meron kasing umangal.
Meron nag-raise ng issue, yes. Meron nag-raise ng issue. You know kasi walang nag-raise ng issue, so we just let it. After all, sabi ng Kongreso is let it operate until the end of the Congress. Yung particular Congress. Kung wala pang renewal after the end of the Congress, then that's it. Wala na siyang franchise. So, yun po yun doon. Nangyari last time.
sino po specifically yung nag-raise ng issue? Sino po specifically ang nag-raise ng issue? Kasi baka po kayo makontempt dahil dito, sabi ng House Committee on Legislative Franchises, ang pagkakaintindi daw nila, mag-i-issue kayo ng provisional authority, kaya hindi sila nagmamadali na i-renew yung or mag-deliberation on the franchise. So, sino kaya yung nag-raise ng issue at nagbago isip ninyo? At saka, kapag na-contempt po kayo, ano po ang gagawin ninyo? Yun ang sinasabi ngayon ng House, and we will be asking the congressman later about it.
Well, isa lang option. Meron silang legal remedy is to get PRO or report. So pagka nakuha yun, they can continue operating with the PRO issued by the court. But hanggat wala po yung PRO, they have to remain closed.
Sir, si Solgen Kalida po ba ang tinutukoy ninyo na nag-raise ng issue?
Well, napabalita po yan. It's in the papers at nag-raise po ng issue sa Supreme Court and it's still pending in the Supreme Court. We cannot discuss the merit of the case. Opo.
So, Congressman, ano na po ang magiging move ng House ngayon na nangyari yan? Parang nagtuturuan yata na bakit hindi nag-renew ng franchise ang House, tapos ang NTC naman parang nagsisisihan Ano bang move ng House ngayon?
Well, kami talaga yung nagulat, and that's a complete turnaround of the position and the recommendations of NTC. Even if we look into the precedents in those recommendations, nung mga pending application for renewal of franchise. Ang dami ho kaming pending application for the renewal of franchise na kung saan pending the deliberations in the Committee on Legislative Franchise, kahit nag-expire, they continue to operate. Kami ho'y nagulat dahil yung mga rekomendasyon ng NTC sa ibang prangkesa ay hindi nila ina-apply or they will not they don't want to afford the same treatment sa ABS-CBN. yan ho ay posisyon nila noon, bakit ho kabaliktaran ngayon. And I really beg to disagree to the good commissioner wherein he said that because there is a standing opposition, oppositions are of no moment because at the end of the day, it will be the Committee on Legislative Franchise who will decide whether to renew or disapprove the application for the renewal of franchise. Ang established practice ho talaga, and this was born out of records na sila pa ang nagsabi na pag ang prangkesa for renewal was filed on time and they complied with all the documentary requirements submitted to the committee, and even if it's expired pending deliberation, they will continue to operate because that is based on equity. Eh wala na ano kasalanan yung nag-a-apply eh. Kung nag-expire yung kanilang prangkisa pending deliberation. Yun ho yung ina-apply nating ruling dyan. And that was the sentiment of the House of Representatives and of the Senate. And that's why it came up with a resolution requesting the NTC. So nagugulat ho kami why there is this complete turnaround of their position.
Congressman, pwede bang mag-backtrack? Nasaan na po ba yun nung bago mag-ECQ? Ano po ba yung status ng franchise nun?
Yung status po is in the initial deliberation sa pagdinig ng renewal of franchise. In fact, this week nga sana, kung wala lang ECQ, magkakaroon sana ng hearing. Yun yung commitment ng chair ng Committee on Legislative Franchise and of course the House leadership, Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano. But because we are forbidden to hold any hearing due to the fact that merong standing prohibition on mass gathering, eh baka mapagbintangan kaming binabiolate namin yung guidelines na pinag-provide ng Interagency Task Force. And that's the reason why we cannot come up with a hearing. But considering this supervening circumstance, we'll wait for the House leadership and the chair of the Committee on Legislative Franchise whether there will be an upcoming hearing next week, Luchi.
All right. Okay, so
Congressman, I know you have a limited time, but because nag-rewind si Luchi, I want to go even further back. Because in the case of NTC, kung naintindihan ko po sinasabi ng NTC, oo, it happens, and before hinahayaan namin, but it was always a tenuous arrangement. It was a tenuous arrangement on the premise of equity, one, but also premised on sana walang umangal. No? And it therefore goes back to NTC saying, ang problema is really Congress. I mean, it's not the commissioner saying this. I will say it out loud. Then this is what a lot of people are thinking. The original sin was Congress not acting on this expeditiously. Nobody was even asking for an expedition action. It was filed more than a year ago. When you look back now at how much time Congress took to even set a single appointment, even set a single hearing on this, and then now you saying na kasalanan to ng NTC, is there not any regret on the part of the people in Congress who say na dapat hayaan ng ABS-CBN? Is there no regret on your part on how you handled your time and all that time you had to handle this when it was right in front of you?
Well, I'm just saying, Robbie, that the precedent that should have been followed is that when a renewal of franchise was filed on time, and even if the franchise was filed or had expired during the deliberations in the committee, they will be allowed to continue to operate. So yan yung position ng Kongreso, yan din po yung position ng NTC. Ang sinasabi natin dito, consistent kami sa position na yon, consistent kami sa mga rekomendasyon na yon, consistent kami sa practice na yon. Bakit yung NTC has this complete turnaround of their position na sinabi nga na on March 10, they adopted said position and even committed to issue a provisional authority.
all right. Okay, sir. Maraming salamat.
But can I squeeze in one more question with the commissioner? Commissioner, just to be clear po, what happens next? Bale, ano yung mga affected na mga assets ng ABS-CBN? And I understand may 10 days kasi, may 10 days yung kumpanya para mag-appeal. In that interval, they cannot go on the air with free TV, ganun ho ba yun? And while it is all pending, what happens then?
Yun hong 10 days, yung BICOL nag-frequency. But the CDO is, they have to stop operating the radio broadcast transmitters. Yun po yung pinahinto. Hindi po yung content. It is the radio broadcasting stations or radio transmitters nila ang pinahinto po.
So, you're referring po to are you referring to free TV and digital terrestrial television only, not to cable TV?
Yung content, wala ho yun. Hindi ho apektado yung content. Yung program.
Opo, no. I'm just trying to be clear po. I'm just trying to be clear po kasi baka mamaya po maghihimayan tayo later on down the line eh. So ang cable TV po hindi po apektado. Ganun ho ba?
Hindi.
Hindi raw.
Mhm.
Teleradyo po, teleradyo. What about teleradyo? Teleradyo.
Well, yung
Tuloy
content,
yun.
basta ginamit po nila yung transmitters nila, yun po hindi
Okay.
pwede.
All right.
Okay. So broadcast ang nawala. Broadcast ang
Yung transmitter po wala.
Okay.
Okay. Ed.
Okay.
And
Ako ba?
let me just add everybody that the NTC has a standing certificate of good standing to ABS-CBN.
Oh.
Now, hindi pa na rin nila binabawi yun.
Oo.
Yes. Kaya nga lang ho yung franchise kasi. So we cannot issue any authority without a valid congressional franchise. That's pursuant to law. Yun po yung nangyari dyan.
Actually, Commissioner,
Asahan.
Actually, Commissioner, I could see your point of view. I could see that point of view, that particular point of view, even as far back as February. Pero I think we were all lulled into a sense of complacency by what the DOJ was saying, to which you agreed to, and to which Congress and the Senate also agreed to. So parang everybody was kampante na okay na, planchado na lahat. And then a month later, everything changes. Now, let me ask you po, meron ho bang kinalaman ang opinion ng Solgen dito sa pangyayaring ito?
Pinag-aralan po mabuti ng aming legal team. All the issues raised, lahat-lahat pinag-aralan mabuti. And the recommendation is to issue the CDO. And when we discuss the two of us in an en banc session, we agreed with the recommendation of the legal team na walang ibang option but to issue the CDO.
Well, pero again po, I will have to ask that same question all over again. May kinalaman ho ba yung opinion ng Solgen? Did that have an impact on the decision of the NTC and on the opinion of the legal team? I ask that po kasi medyo biglaan po yung nangyaring pag-reversal ng posisyon ng NTC. The last time we heard from the NTC, which was from, I think from you pa nga nung March 12, it was a completely different, completely at the complete reverse of what is happening now. So it is not po it's not an issue of nuancing lamang. It's an issue of a reversal of your position po.
Saka dagdagan ko lang yun. Uulitin ko po yung question ko kanina. Kasi sinabi nyo, merong kaseng nag-object. Tatanungin ko lang uli kung sino yung nag-oppose nung yung original position ninyo.
Yung objection is hindi yun. Yung nag-raise ng validity of the franchise. Ito po yun. No? Kasi mayroong question on the validity of the franchise of ABS-CBN. And nag-expire siya. So, wala na. So, yun
Sino po yung nag-object mo ba yan? O si Larry Gadon?
Sino po yung nag-object?
Well, marami ho sa Supreme Court, if I'm not mistaken, na nag-raise ng issue. And yun po yun. So lahat yung pinag-aralan, the letter of the Soldier pinag-aralan, lahat-lahat yan.
Commissioner, idagdag ko lang po, again, in the interest of consistency, we said that in the past nangyayari to, hinahayaan. Are you now saying that your action on ABS-CBN becomes precedent for all pending applications of broadcast franchises moving forward, or perhaps even in the present. There are legislators pointing out that the ABS-CBN is not alone in this round of asking for some reprieve. Are you therefore saying that it applies to everybody right now?
Well, precedent setting ho yan, yes. Opo.
Okay.
Okay. Sige, maraming salamat po. That was NTC Deputy Commissioner Edgardo Cabarrios, and of course, ako BICOL Party-list Congressman Alfredo Garbin Jr., who is also a member of the House Committee on Franchises. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and thank you for your insights.
Salamat po.
Thank you po.
Salamat po.
Okay, we will just go into a gap, so please stay right there. We will be back.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Chiefs. We're still discussing the unprecedented shutdown of ABS-CBN network. We will be going to our reporter Lynn Olivario, who is in ABS-CBN. Lynn, how's the situation there?
Uy,
Okay, we're here in front of the ABS-CBN main
mali yung
building
perspective.
at the Sergeant Esguerra
Balik yung ano natin.
Street. There's not much really happening here, at least from where I am standing. As you can see behind me, the main building is lit with the colors of the logo of ABS-CBN, which are blue, green, and red. And the ELJ building also behind me is lit with the heart.
Okay.
Nagkamali
Ayusin mo na nila yung
Ipitin
perspective.
lang natin ang konti.
Uulitin po natin at
Ipo-portrait.
ayusin ang content.
Yeah.
Meron pa tayo.
But I can only imagine what it looks like doon sa ABS-CBN. Bago tayo nag-umpisa, I was looking through my social media feed, yung mga colleagues natin sa ABS-CBN, they were posting pictures inside the newsroom, inside the network. Siyempre, mabigat talaga pakiramdam ng mga tao ngayon doon.
Oo
Hindi,
nga.
tsaka ang daming mawawala ng trabaho. I mean, nabawasan na nga yung mga talent fee because of the ECQ. Ngayon, mawawala pa. Grabe.
And what a time to do it, di ba? What a time to do it. With COVID and everything, you're bracing for millions of people, millions of jobs lost. You're bracing for 500,000 OFWs coming home with nowhere to go. And then now you have an additional 11,000 people from the media sector na, again, hindi naman yan tipong kayang saluhin ni Ami Pamintuan sa Philippine Star yung 11,000 bukas.
Kaya-kaya, nag-donate sila ng 2 million eh.
Metrobank yung Metrobank. Hindi
Okay,
ba sinabi Melinda Quinto Jesus kahapon half of the organizations under the Philippine Press Institute sarado nga ngayon eh.
That's right. That's right.
Pang industriya tapos ito pa madadagdag pa yan. So dami-dami daw nagte-text sa kanila at nagtatawagan kanina na komisyon.
Pero meron pa namang teleradyo. Malaking bagay yun.
Ongoing.
Malaking bagay rin yun. So, kahit pa paano. And knowing them, susulpot sila ron. Gagamitin nila yung platform na yun. For sure.
Pero, totoo naman yan.
Oo, yeah.
Pero napakalaking slowdown pa rin, ano? Ang laking slowdown.
Yes.
Entertainment
mawala.
Ewan ko yung entertainment, pwede pa? Tuloy pa ba yun? Pwede pa ba nila? Kasi they sell
content. Pero sa ENC, wala. Teleradyo, wala. Diba?
Kaya nga, yun yung problema.
Well, unless they reprogram, but let's see. Yeah.
Puro online.
Yeah.
Pero you need to earn revenue also, di ba? Kaya medyo hirap din eh.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ayun, nandiyan na yata.
Kaya natin siya.
Babalik si Lynn.
Lynn
Olivario. Okay, tama na yung perspective. Okay, Lynn.
Yun.
Nandito tayo sa labas ng ABS-CBN main building. It's along Sargentes Guerra. And there's not really much happening here. We're waiting along with other members of the media if people inside ABS-CBN will come out. We would like to get their statement. Pero so far kanina na dumating tayo dito, may mga nagsindi na ng kandila doon sa harap ng gate ng ABS-CBN. We were told by the guard that some members of ABS-CBN and other media, mostly other media raw, yung nagsindi ng kandila bilang pakikiisa nga dito sa pag-issue ng NTC ng cease and desist order sa ABS-CBN. We also saw a couple of members of Bahaghari, a militant and nationalist org of LGBTQ+. They said hindi lang sila nakikipaglaban for pride, they're also fighting for human rights. And they feel that this is an attack on press freedom. At nag-aalala din sila dun sa job security ng more than 11,000 workers of ABS-CBN at sinasabi nga nila, what a time to lose your jobs na merong pandemic at ngayon ka pa mawawala ng trabaho. So yun yung mainly sentimiento nila. At they also likened this as a threat to democracy at inihalin tulad nila ito actually doon sa mga paggamit ng puwersa ng mga nag-enforce sa pag-enforce ng enhanced community quarantine, yung ganong kawalan ng seguridad or safety kahit na hindi sila taga ABS-CBN. So far, hindi na natin sila, they're no longer here. I guess they observed the curfew that we spoke to them before around 7 o'clock. Tapos kanina may dumaan din dito, Barangay Mobile, just really reminding everyone to observe social distancing as a group of members of the media went here to ABS-CBN at around 6 when we got here. Marami ng membro ng media dito na nakaantabay pa rin katulad natin hanggang sa ngayon kung may makakausap ba tayo mula sa kanilang network na magbibigay ng kanilang pahayag.
So, hindi about the employees. Are they exiting? Have you seen employees leaving the compound?
Not yet, Ma'am Luchi. There are just a couple of cars going inside the building. Pero yung mga lumalabas, hindi ko sigurado lang kung dito sila lalabas or kung hindi pa sila lumalabas. We're just really monitoring right now from their Twitter account kung ano yung nangyayari sa loob ng kanilang newsroom. And so far, I saw that the workers are still working despite not knowing what's in it or what's going to happen to them in the immediate future. Nagtatrabaho pa rin sila ngayon sa loob. And we just saw people inside the newsroom when ABS-CBN was signing off. At andun sila, nagpalakpakan sila kanina nung nag-sign off ang ABS-CBN. That's as far as we can see from here now in front of the main building of ABS-CBN.
May overnight vigil ba? Hindi sila pwede sa labas. Pero pwede sila sa loob, di ba? Hindi pwede mag-rally ngayon, hindi pwedeng mag-ano dyan sa labas. Pero dun sa
Yeah.
anong balak nila? Are they planning to stay there much longer during the night?
What?
Yun din yung inaabangan natin kung anong gagawin nila. Kasi as of now, we haven't spoken to anyone from ABS-CBN to give us details on their plans on vigils and similar activities.
Lynn, pwede ka ba mag-walk through? Lumakad ka lang dyan sa Sergeant Esguera para lang makita namin yung buong fasad.
Alright. Okay. Ito po yung main building ng ABS-CBN rather. It's along Sergeant
Baka pwede ka
Esguera.
pumasok?
Oh, baka papasukin ka. Subukan mo lang.
Sabi mo, hindi tayo talo.
Susubukan natin, tatanungin natin yung guard kung papapasukan
Ilaw
tayo.
yung buong building. The whole building is lit up, no?
At least what I can see from here, etong main building daw ang tawag dito. And then,
Yes.
again, can you see the heart-shaped light
Yes. Yes.
at the back? It's
Right.
the ELJ building.
Yes.
Ano yung pumapasok? Lynn, ano yung papasok? Crewcab?
Yung mga crew cab, yung iba nakaparada dito kanina, Bok, ng ABS-CBN, pero nag-alisa na rin sila.
Sige.
Yung natira
Kasi
dito.
baka pwedeng harangan.
Lynn, I'm sure kahit pa paano nakausap mo naman ang mga kapamilya dyan, mga kapatid natin dyan, and I'm sure you've been talking about the coming days. May indication ba sa'yo ang mga kasama mo sa pagro-ronda, yung mga journalist dyan? Anong plano nila tomorrow? Are they still going to pound the beats? Are they going to be covering, given that mayroon pa rin silang ibang mga plataforma sa digital, sa cable and so on? Patuloy pa ba ang pag-cover ng ating mga kasama dyan sa ABS-CBN?
What I heard is may ANC pa rin naman, so may digital, so maaari pa rin silang magbalita sa ibang channel, kumbaga. Our friends from the media from ABS-CBN, of course, they are saddened. Karamihan sa kanila mga tinatanong ng mga magulang nila kung paano na, at hindi nila masagot. They're basically at a loss for words right now, and they're very emotional and really sad about this.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maraming salamat kay Lynn Olavario, nag-uulat mula sa Sergeant Esguera sa ABS-CBN. Salamat, Lynn. Ingat.
And now we have another guest. Galing naman po sa another major player in this controversy, si Congressman Fortune of the House. Nandiyan ba siya ngayon?
Yeah.
Hello, Congressman.
Hi, sir.
Kailangan po namin lagi yung mga technology namin. You're a member of the House Legislative Franchise Committee. Kasama po natin si Luchi. I think you can see us. Luchi Cruz-Valdes of TV5.
Hi, sir.
Roby Alampay of One News and Ed Lingao of One News, TV5. Tatanungin po namin.
Gabi po.
Yes.
I'm not a member of the.
You're not a member
of the Legislative Franchises Committee.
Okay.
But I'm a co-author of the House Resolution 639 supporting the renewal.
Okay. So tatanungin po lang namin kasi kanina kasama namin si Director Cabarios ng NTC. At ang balita nga kanina, balak daw ng House na i-contempt ang NTC dahil ang pagkakaintindi daw ng House mag-i-issue ng provisional franchise ang NTC. Kaya hindi ina-actionan kagad ng House yung franchise renewal ng ABS-CBN. Ano po ba talaga nangyari? Ano bang mood sa House ngayon in the first place?
Well, gusto ko lang tingnan to mula sa umpisa, no? Para sa akin, unang-una sa lahat, this is lesson learned for the House of Representatives. Kasi had the committee acted on the franchise renewal bills early on and passed the necessary legislation, hindi na po sana tayo aabot sa ganitong sitwasyon na inabot tayo ng expiration of the franchise. That's for one. That's why from the very start, we've been pushing na sana yung franchise renewal bills ay dininig na kaagad. Kasi nga, itong taon na to mag-expire. And if we look back pa to the 17th Congress, this was already filed in the 17th Congress. and not one hearing was held in the 17th Congress, no?
Exactly.
And in the 18th Congress, merong nangyaring hearing, but papalapit na po yung recess ng House. Anyway, that's water under the bridge already. Pero on one hand din, masaklap din ang nangyari dito sa ginawa ng NTC, because the House was made to believe that NTC would issue the provisional authority because
Yes.
they made that categorical commitment nung
Yes.
nag-hearing kami noong March 10.
Yes.
Ang lagi nilang sinasabi noon, if there is an official advice from Congress that it is the intent of the legislature to allow provisional operation in the meantime that the franchise renewal bills are still being heard, ay magbibigay sila ng provisional authority. So we relied on that commitment because during that hearing sa March 10, under oath yun, no, ni Chairman Cordoba ng NTC. Sinabi nila na pag lumabas na yung resolution ng committee adopting the letter of the Speaker and the Legislative Franchises Committee Chair addressed to the NTC, ibibigay na nila ang provisional authority. In fact, kasama po sa commitment nila, hindi lang yung provisional authority. Ang commitment nila is that they would keep the House posted on any developments na nangyayari sa NTC involving the grant of provisional authority. So kung meron silang mga meetings, meron silang mga hearings sa commission that have something to do with the grant of provisional authority, they would update the House from time to time. Pero ang nangyari po, from March 10 to today, wala man lang ni isang official communication from the NTC. Wala pong report, walang advice, contrary to their commitment. So ang nangyari, parang binulaga ang Kongreso, no? Because sana naman kung if the NTC had a change of heart, no, after consultation with their legal team, sa tingin nila pala ay hindi sila pwede magbigay ng provisional authority, good faith dictates that they should have informed the House ahead of time that they are not likely to issue the provisional authority, because had they informed us, probably Congress would have acted differently. No? So, ang nangyari dito, yes po.
Congressman, meron ba kayong, I don't know, theory or speculation kung ano ba talaga ang nangyari at parang bumaligtad ang NTC?
Hindi ko rin maintindihan pero titingnan ko lang yung mga series ng events, no? Parang for a while tahimik naman ang issue ng provisional authority because everybody was already of the impression that sooner or later, prior to the expiration, the appropriate provisional authority would already be issued as committed, no, by the NTC. Then suddenly, just a day before the supposed expiration of the franchise,
Yes.
the Solicitor General comes out with a statement warning the NTC of possible legal repercussions if they issue the provisional authority. Then walang reaction from the NTC. Then today, contrary to their commitment again, they reneged on their commitment. Nag-issue ng cease and desist order. So everybody is surprised na lalong-lalo kami sa House kasi we thought all the while na hindi mangyayari ito. Tapos yung timing napakasaklap. We are in the middle of a great crisis. And of all things na dapat tutukan ng pansin, ito pa ang nangyari. Para bang kagulat-gulat dahil parang unlikely naman na gagawin ng isang ahensya ito sa gitna ng krisis. At ang impact po kasi nito hindi lang naman doon sa insulto sa Kongreso. Ang impact nito doon sa press freedom at ang impact din nito doon sa plight ng mga manggagawang 11,000 in the middle of a pandemic. Mawawalan po sila ng trabaho. So, nakakagulat po talaga. I think this will go down in the history as the worst action this agency has ever done, no, in wanton disregard of its repercussions.
Congressman,
I'm sure you know that
susundin ko lang po yun. Is it the action of this NTC?
Yes.
I mean, kanina po, kasi binanggit, no, but kanina po sinabi nyo, ang NTC, napakadaling, nung unang nagsalita ang Solgen, para bang your impression was, wala, dead ma. No, no reaction ang NTC. I get it. I seem to read into that you're saying that something else over and above the opinion of the Solicitor General, must have compelled the NTC to act because initially, hindi nila pinapansin. They were shrugging it off.
Well, hello, nawawala ang audio ko.
Ay, hindi oh.
Okay po.
Malinaw pa, malinaw.
Okay.
Namin kayo.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to speculate. It's just that the turn of events are very surprising. Kasi, ang impression na nga ng lahat, kaya tumahimik na yung issue dahil may commitment na to issue the provisional authority. Sa akin lang naman, sabi ni yung commissioner kanina, Cabarrios. Yeah. Sabi ni Commissioner Cabarrios, they consulted the legal team and the legal team opined na hindi pala dapat i-issue provisional authority because there's no legal basis. Pero ang tingin ko, bakit ngayon lang kayo nagkonsulta sa legal team niyo? Hindi ba ito ninyo kinonsultan noong kasagsagan pa ng issue noon?
At bago pa humarap sa Congress, dapat nagkonsulta na.
Ngayon pa lang kayo magtatanong sa legal team niyo kung kailan tapos na ang commitment. Sa tingin ko, nagtanong na sila ng legal team nung kasagsagan pa ng kainitan ng issue. Then ngayon, they would use this now as a convenient excuse that after consultation with their legal division, ito pala ang tamang gawin, ang hindi magbigay ng provisional authority. Ang sa akin na naman, kung yan ang opinion ng inyong legal team, sana naman pinaalam nyo because they committed to the House that from time to time, they would update the House developments. So if there was a legal opinion from the legal team that if there is no legal basis to issue a provisional authority, they have informed the House ahead of time so that the House would have acted kung ano ang tama. No? Probably nag-hearing na ang Kongreso at nagpasa na ng legislation bago pa man mag-expire yung prangkisa. So parang bulaga ang lahat eh. Parang I don't see good faith here because good faith dictates that you would at least inform the House.
Pero kayo, sir, sa House, anong mga susunod na hakbang ninyo? Yun ang tanong. Para nga maibalik sila sa ere.
Well, sa akin po unang-una, kahapon nabanggit ko na rin ito sa ilang interview na unang-una kailangan panindigan ng Kongreso ang kanyang authority, no? At panindigan ng Kongreso ang kanyang reputasyon at kanyang integrity sa pangyayaring ito. So one action would be to call the NTC to appear before the House of Representatives at sagutin nila. They have to explain bakit they reneged on their commitment, not only to the House of Representatives, in fact, but to the Senate as well. So it's a commitment made not only to us, but to the whole Congress because both houses ang sinabihan nila ng kanilang commitment. And
Congressman,
since nandyan na po yan, yes po.
Hindi ba mas madali kung ipasa niyo na lang yung
Correct, yung franchise.
Kasi actually sabi ni Congressman Ed Selagman, tama naman daw yung hindi daw talaga pwedeng provisional authority. Sabi niya talaga daw ang remedyo lang dyan is to renew the franchise. Sabi niya, bakit ang tagal-tagal? I mean, we've seen even smaller radio stations getting their franchises over the past months. Bakit walang network ng Pilipinas? Bakit napakatagal? Bakit hindi kaya bang ipasa yan? Since you've resumed session, saka pwede na kayo mag-teleconferencing, can you vote on it within the time allotted to
Yes
you?
Po.
Ngayon, kaya bang ipasa yung renewal ng franchise?
Yes po. In fact, yung susunod ko, pero sabi ko nga, kailangan ipatawag ng NTC para mag-explain din sila. But hindi po pwedeng yun lang ang aksyon, no? Ang isang aksyon din dapat umpisahan na kaagad na mabilis, no? Ang pagdinig ng franchise renewal bills. In fact po, ang practice naman sa Legislative Franchises Committee, kahit tingnan natin yung records diyan, there's a checklist of requirements that an applicant for a new franchise or an applicant for renewal franchise submits to the committee. Then titingnan lang naman ng committee in checklist kung compliant doon sa mga requirements eh. Then pag naka-comply,
Congressman, if you don't mind, since you're talking about the process and what was already done in the process, i-recast ko lang yung tanong ni Ami because I want to make sure that you're not invoking process here. I think ang tanong lang ni Ami is Bakit ang instinct is for a congressional hearing? Why is not the instinct kung if it doesn't impede, it's not a requirement on the process, bakit hindi unahin muna? Ipasan nyo na muna yung franchise. Tapos saka kayo magpapaliwanag sa NTC. Unless you're
Pwede
saying,
naman po yun.
unless you're
No,
saying na hindi, that's part of the process.
No, it's not. These are two different things, no?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that dapat ini-assert ng Congress yun. But hindi naman kailangan mauna yon. Sa tingin ko, dapat mauna dito yung prangkisa. But but there should be an assertion on the part of the House doon sa ginawa ng NTC. Anyway, ang tingin ko po ay kailangan bilisan na ng committee at kasi kailangan manggaling muna sa committee yung approval ng prangkisa bago po siya calendar for second reading ng ating House of Representatives. So it has to the ball now, no, as far as commencing the proceedings already is in the hands of the committee. So dapat bilisan na lang committee. Tingin ko naman isa, dalawang hearings matatapos yan kung compliant naman, then i-schedule na for second reading. We can pass actually a bill in a week's time.
Pero kung given how complex the issues are now already revolving around ABS-CBN, ang dami pang maglalabasan yun, ang dami magbabatuan yun ng diskusyon ng debate. So you can imagine na if it was complicated in February, it's going to get a lot more complicated now, lalo na pagkatapos na nangyari. What about the option of, for example, a provisional franchise, if you may call it that, until the end of the year or for 1 year, while Congress hammers out a full 25-year franchise, if it does come to that. Pero at least that gives Congress breathing room with which to discuss things thoroughly. I mean, 2016 pa, may na-file ng mga bills for the franchise renewal, hindi umaandar. Do you think in 2 days or three meetings, matatapos nila yan?
Sa akin lang naman po kung talagang gugustuhin because we are now in a different situation. Nasara na kasi and urgent yung concern ng mga manggagawa, no? Kaya parang baka pwedeng mabilis-bilisan. Tama po 'yon, Sir Ed, yung option ng pagbigay ng mas maiksing prangkisa ay napag-usapan na rin po namin yan noon, no? Na kung hindi man provisional authority, baka pwedeng magbigay ng mas maiksing prangkisa ang Kongreso like a year's time para within that year, we can thresh out all issues.
Yes.
So, isa yan sa pwedeng mga options. In fact, na-discuss na rin yan dati. So, tingin ko, maganda po yung thank you for that reminder. We'll push for that. If a 25-year franchise or renewal for another 25 years may take longer, then probably a shorter provisional franchise can be resorted to.
Pero sa tingin nyo, within this congressman, kaya yun, within this Congress, kaya nyong i-renew yung franchise? Kasi sa iba naman bigyan naman
Tingin ko po kaya talaga kung gugustuhin. Medyo hindi lang kasi similarly situated yung ABS-CBN compared to the others because of these issues, no? No less than the Office of the Solicitor General is questioning the validity of the existing franchise, no? Ang isa kong nakikita dito number one, I think the co-warrant to petition of the Solicitor General should be dismissed already for being more an academic because they're trying to assail the validity of this franchise that has already expired. So since expired na yan, there's nothing to revoke anymore. That's one.
Yes.
And number two, this can be treated as an application for a new franchise altogether. Because there's nothing to renew anymore.
Right.
So whatever issues are involved in the previous franchise, pwede nang itabi yun dahil bagong prangkisa na po itong pinag-uusapan natin dito.
But Congressman, again, on the process, how complicated is that? Literally yesterday, we were talking about an extension, a renewal. Now you're talking about, technically, wala na talaga. So this is a totally new application. How much more difficult is that? Sa totoo lang, pagka nag-usap-usap na yung mga abogado at saka mga politiko at sinabi nila exactly what you said but not how you said it, they will say it like, teka muna pare, kasi hindi na to extension. Panibagong application to.
Yeah, the House can always treat this as a new application. I-amend lang naman yung bills during the committee hearing, the proponents can simply amend during the committee hearing. Doon sa period of amendments, i-amend lang siya as an application for a new franchise. But the same requirements are pare-pareho naman yung requirements. So, pero actually, dati nga, sinasabi namin noon na sana wag nang antayin na umabot sa expiration kasi magkakaroon ng mga legal issues pa. No? We even thought that it was deliberate na paabutin sa punto na mag-expire siya para sabihin na all those bills should be shelved already kasi dapat may panibagong filing of bills. This time not anymore for renewal but application for a new franchise.
And here we are.
Congressman, sa tingin nyo sa mga nangyayari ngayon, your bill will get more support from the House leadership?
Yeah, I think so. No, mula naman noong lumabas na rin ang speaker at nagsabi si Speaker Peter Cayetano na pabor siya sa renewal ng prangkisa, mas marami naman sa mga kasamahan namin ang sumuporta na sa franchise renewal bills. Although sa umpisa medyo kakaunti, pero doon naman sa pagtatanong namin sa mga kasama, halos lahat naman po ay pabor. No? Halos lahat ay pabor. Medyo hindi lang lumabas dahil siguro naninimbang din. But when the speaker already came out with a statement that he was for the renewal of the franchise, then immediately nagkaroon naman ng suporta mula sa aming mga kasamahan.
Okay, Congressman, we want to hear an opinion from the academe. We have another guest with us, Professor Ranjit of the University of the Philippines Political Science Department. Ipapasok lang po natin siya ngayon. Professor Ranjit. Professor Ranjit of UP.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, sir. Good evening po.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir.
Naririnig niyo po yung mga usap-usapan natin ngayon. Medyo masalimuot yung issue. What's your take on this, Professor, sa mga nangyayari sa ABS-CBN?
Parang nag-freeze siya.
Nawala yata siya. Anyway.
Congressman, balikan ko lang po yung, i-recaps ko ulit yung tanong kanina. Because you mentioned good faith. Do you think that you mentioned good faith in the context of the NTC, but yung inaasahan natin ngayon sa Kongreso, do you trust that there is good faith now? Not just support or not just expressions of support, but do you trust that it is in fact good faith when you have a little more optimism that this will get more support now at the House of Representatives?
Well, I think so, no. In fact, tingin ko magiging reaction ng House dito, magiging magkukumpol ang Kongreso. Dahil ang tingin ko, itatrato ng Kongreso ito na insulto sa buong institusyon. Since the commitment was made to the House of Representatives, tingin ko, ang mangyayari dito, ito yung usual na nagiging reaksyon ng Kongreso kahit na
Yes, but with all due respect, Congressman, that insult was made nung nagko-waranto pa lang ang Solgen. And you already had a lot of congressmen and even a lot of senators saying, what are they doing trying to take away this power, which is exclusively the power of the House of Representatives? If you're counting on that insult as extra motivation for the House to assert its mandate and its power, it didn't happen before.
Congressman, nawala yata si Congressman. Ipasok po natin. Professor Ranjit, can you hear us now?
Yeah. Very interesting conversation. Good evening to everyone.
Pag-uusapan natin dapat yung COVID Pero anyway, biglang pumasok to amid the COVID pandemic. Anong tingin niyo?
Yes, I know.
What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's unprecedented. No, I never thought I would actually experience this kind of phenomena in my lifetime. Both the COVID and the closing down of a pillar, of the media in our society, and so I feel it's unfortunate I'm worried about how these events have transpired and why they have been left to evolve the way it has. No? But the congressman has been explaining things, no? And some of the options. I was listening on the side. The House has a responsibility to fulfill its mandate in this particular case, the franchise of ABS-CBN, and I'm hoping that they will act on it very soon.
I mean, Professor Rai, nabanggit nyo that this puts at peril a pillar in Philippine society, in Philippine democracy for that matter, and you pin your hopes, as you said, on the House. But recasting that, looking backwards, how much responsibility do you place on the House of Representatives, on the Speaker, on the House leadership in, as you said, placing in peril this pillar in Philippine democracy?
Media freedom is important to democracy, and especially important now during a time of pandemic where we need sources of information that are legitimate, and so my sense is, Robbie, yes, maybe the House has taken so much more time than needed, no, to deal with this particular issue. But there's also context before, there was a very strong position placed by the executive against this particular proposal for renewal of franchise, and so there was a lot of political pressure during that time. But since then, things have evolved, no? And I was expecting that this will be first on the agenda when we open Congress, no? But nobody expected the pandemic to take such a strong impact on all of us. But then again, we have no choice but to see if Congress does have good faith, and they will be the solution to this particular issue. If they expedite the hearings and decide on this franchise, then we resolve the issue quickly. But if they dilly-dally, then this is a problem. And that's a fear that all of us have, no? That this might not be resolved quickly. And what's in peril here is not just information to the public, but media freedom, media and press freedom in the country in general.
Congressman Fortun, you want to react to that? And nasabit po yung tanong ni Roby, baka po gusto niyong sagutin. Hindi na yata, nawala na yata, siguro.
Ayan na.
Hello, medyo na ako.
Kaya ba? Kaya? Kasi kung hindi, I think we can, unfortunately, hindi na yata kaya. Anyway, magpapasalamat po kami kay Congressman.
Wala po.
Oo nga magpasalamat na lang po.
Exactly. Yung statement ni Professor Ranjit.
Okay. Nawawala si Congressman. Anyway, Congressman Lawrence Fortun, marami pong salamat for joining the Chiefs. We're sorry for the technical glitches. Good luck po dun sa sa bill ninyo for the renewal of the franchise. Anyway, we go back. We go back to Professor Ranjit Rai of UP, and you were asking a question.
I share the sentiments of everyone here. I share the sentiments of everyone here. We're all disappointed. We're all, I think anxious about what has happened. If that can happen to ABS-CBN, it can happen to Channel 5, no? And and things like this, no? But of course, in franchise yung maayos naman. Pero this is unfortunate what happened.
Pero Prof, allow me to play the devil's advocate here, Prof. There are people, there are perspectives that state na this is not an issue of press freedom because press freedom is a right, but a franchise is a privilege. How would you respond to something like that?
It's a technical issue at the same time, I was trying to explain to my father-in-law what has happened, and he's a very big fan of all this ABS-CBN shows, no? And very disappointed he couldn't see it. Number one was that, no? And so I was trying to explain to him, no? Imagine you're driving a car and you have a license, but it's expired, and your policeman, no, your traffic cop, which probably is the NTC here, no, hails you and says, you can't drive because you don't have a license, no. The license should be taken from LTO, but LTO hasn't given you a new license, and apparently was assured by the traffic management team that you won't be caught. So it's a really complex thing, and for most Filipinos, this has to be explained. Yeah, but then again, there's the other side of that, Ed, that this was discussed for over a year, and there was real pressure from members of the executive, no, and Congress had to prioritize other bills apart from this, and I think the only way out of this is if Congress exercises its mandate. It has been asserting it's been crying foul because of what NTC did. But then now the ball is in their own court. They have to say what they mean and mean what they say when it's their power. So I guess it's a genuine opportunity for the leadership to decide on this with finality. Whether it's going to be a new bill for franchise or a renewal.
Professor Rai, let's talk politics because let's assume the worst case. Let's assume na unfortunately wala na. There's no turning back. Walang ABS-CBN, and Congress and the politicians in the House of Representatives move on from this. Elections is around the corner in 2022. Is there a price to pay, do you think, given that ABS-CBN is not just a company, it's a galaxy of very influential people in entertainment, in news, who have their own social media followings and so on. Let's go to that scenario. What is the risk for the politicians who allow this to happen?
Well, I agree now that now it's not just an issue of a corporation. It's now become a social movement now because now it's off the air, and now today so many more people on the sidelines will now come in and become part of the discourse. And I agree, Robbie. Although I can't imagine that Congress will make that mistake of not renewing. Okay, or ensuring that the ABS-CBN will not be on air. I think they will get it, maybe not tomorrow, but certainly within the time frame of Congress this May. And the impact of all of this is really a whole movement of people will now pressure Congress to act. I can't even imagine your scenario, honestly. Yes, I'm sure they will pay, and part of the act of making them remember will be on other channels like TV5 and Channel 7 to remember these people who didn't support press freedom in the country. So I believe that yes, this can become a social movement, and medyo pag binabayaan to, pwedeng lumaki lalo to at it will bite. Yeah.
Actually, Prof, do you see this working, in fact, in favor of ABS-CBN?
Actually, that's why they were talking about going off the air at 12. I was telling myself, no, they should go off right now. Alam mo yon, and while it's prime time. Yeah, and I saw the impact. No, I have a TV Plus. I have a couple of TV Pluses at home, and it's just incredible the impact. There's nothing on air, and what we took for granted, is not anymore there, and it's a very powerful impact on the everyday Filipino who has to stay at home, who has to suffer this quarantine without the shows that they normally watch at this time. And so I think Congress is wise, and I think this will be an impetus for the expediting of this franchise. I'm very confident about that. Those who are against it put themselves in a bad situation now, because now it's not just about ABS, it's a whole movement now. If they don't finish this in the next week or so, it's going to be bad for all those who are trying to build consensus during this time.
How much do you think does ABS-CBN as an influence stand to lose if the franchise approval takes place, say, at the end of the year yet? Kumbaga, is there a timetable within which the franchise should be approved, or else ABS-CBN loses?
The pesos and centavos, I'm not very sure of that, but I think ABS has won its case with this. With this decision by the NTC. The longer the Congress dilly-dallies with this, the better the situation for ABS-CBN. I mean, they're going to be in the minds and hearts of so many more people now, because they've been marginalized, no? And this is not a regular station. This has been here for a long time, and it's part of the everyday lives of common Filipinos, of everyday Filipinos. So I think the longer Congress decides, the real winner here is ABS-CBN.
Yeah.
In my view.
So you don't think na yung ibang fear naman ng iba, Professor, is this is setting a precedent that baka naman daw ganahan yung mga tao na you will put pressure on certain media organizations. You don't think it's going that way?
No, it's also a win for media. More people now will be made aware, no, that this could happen to us. No, this could happen to media, which is a very important pillar of democracy, and that's what we need. No, we need people to start making pakialam, no, to start getting involved, no, and I think those who are wise and moderate in government see this as the big picture. We don't want a whole social movement going against government, against Congress, simply because of this. And if it's just a technical issue, I think it can be resolved. But if it's a political issue, I think Congress is losing, or the people against ABS-CBN are losing. They just lost because of this decision. Because every day now is going to be, pressure on them, especially in a time of COVID, no, where, unfortunately, we should be focusing on other things. Now this is another thing on our plate, which is unfortunate. I think media freedom will win in the long run, as far as I'm concerned, because we won't let this happen. We won't let this last long. Yeah,
Prof, let me complicate your life a little bit more. Could the president isolate or insulate himself from this issue, or would he be involved in this issue? I mean, whether tangentially or indirectly.
Yeah, everybody gets hit by this, in my view. The president, although they've been very vocal that it's not, they're not part of this decision. Yeah. This was a decision by the commission, and it was a legal, technical decision. I think everybody gets hit politically because of this, and now we're having to deal with this tremendous outbreak, no, this epidemic, no, that. And so putting all that together, everybody gets a hit because of this. I don't see anybody being insulated as far as the political establishment is concerned. This is a serious thing, and we should all band together and make our voices heard. I think what happened tonight cannot be sustained for a long period of time. And I think Congress, now the ball is in Congress court. It has to act.
Okay. Well, it just might be that ABS will emerge even stronger because of this.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because people now see the value of this, no? Ganun pala, no? Pag sinaraan sa hindi lang mawawala probinsyano, wala rin yung news, wala rin yung radyo. Where we have so many alternatives here in Metro Manila, but in the provinces, some of the places can only listen to certain types of radio stations, no, and they'll lose that. So this is a problem. This is a problem also for a government, no. At least those who are who want to make sure that they can inform people. Especially now, we're coming up with new guidelines for when we relax. No, we need the media now. We need TV5. We need 7. We need Channel 2. And Channel 2 has a big audience. They've made it, their business has grown, okay, and to the point that they have so many subscribers now. The impact is incredible. I was just looking at, my own family and my in-laws. They were all talking about this over dinner, no, and online. What has happened? So this is it's sad, but at the same time, there's a prospect that this might end up also good for ABS and for media in general.
At
Yes.
least that's something positive for the evening.
Oo nga, silver lining.
That's the best thing we can do. What can we
Talagang
do? It's
pagano'n tayo
closing.
ngayon.
And the night on a hopeful note.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Ranjit.
Thank you. Good evening.
Maraming salamat,
That was
Professor. Maraming salamat
yeah.
po.
Maraming salamat. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, for the COVID thing naman.
Yes, for the COVID.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Fascinating insights from Professor Ranjit Rai after all the downers at the start.
So
we have
we
an
haven't
upper.
seen the last of ABS-CBN.
Ako, seriously. Doon pinanggalingan ng tanong ko. I mean, you really think tatahimik yung mga, now it's dispersed. The influence of ABS-CBN is dispersed from one channel to hundreds of channels on social media, multiplied by millions of followers for each of their stars.
Yeah.
Kaya nga, makikita nila yung impact niyan. Okay. Yan.
Okay, I guess that's it for tonight. The first night of what's going to be a series of long nights and long days for us because of what's happening now. So that's it for this episode of the Chiefs. We hope what to discuss here will keep the conversation going. I'm at Lingao News.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Luchi Cruz-Valdes of News 5.
I'm Roby Alampay, and we are One News.